Guys, welcome back to the channel. Finally, I'm gonna get to finish pulling the motor on the Sierra. This morning I undid the headers, the AC, all the sensors around. Right now I'm gonna go to the bottom and finish undoing the transmission. That's almost done. Unfortunately, I am gonna have to pull the headers off. They're kind of more in the way, and then yeah, we'll go from there. But I'll continue the video probably once I'm pulling this engine out, or once I have it out on the stand and start tearing into it and see what happened. I mean, obviously I think we have an idea of what's going on, or why the crankshaft has all that play, but until we literally take it completely apart or out and look at the crank bearings and stuff, we won't know till then. So yeah, I've been super busy. Sorry I haven't uploaded. I do have a buddy's side job that I'm doing here, doing a cam DOD VVT delete. But anyways, I have that, and then in my backyard I do have two other vehicles that I'm working on as well. One's a Trailblazer for another friend, and then another truck too. So sorry I have not posted, and but yeah, we're gonna continue to take it all apart. I'm not gonna show none of that because I mean, nobody needs to see that. Nobody cares to see that anyhow. Yeah, I'll continue, and like I said, probably more likely when we have the engine on the stand, I'll continue the video from there. And yeah, so stay tuned. All right, so I got the headers off finally, white pipe and everything off. They were giving me so much trouble to get these off, but luckily now it's off. So the reason I did that was because, like I said, they were kind of in the way, and now it's kind of a straight shot to the mount. Basically, I believe that's the only thing that's left. Everything else is literally off. As you can tell, it's a mess right now, but wires, hoses going everywhere. And yeah, so I'll go ahead and probably bring the truck down now, hook up my engine hoist tool that goes right in the valley cover, and yank this thing out. So yeah, like I said, the headers did give me some trouble, but they are off finally. So yeah. All right, so motor's literally out. I left the mounts on there. I left this cable on there. I had to remove the fuel pressure regulator from the firewall here, because it's gonna hit the head up here. So I took that out of the way, and it looks like I'm able to actually pull the engine out without even taking the hood off, which is a plus. And yeah, so the rear main looks fine. I mean, there's no oil or anything as far as like a line coming down. I am going to pull the flex plate off the back cover before I put it on the stand. It makes it much easier, because the stand goes over here and then be in the way. But yeah, so like I did mention, I think in the previous video, it's all oily right here in this section. And then gonna find out I do need another motor mount, which is good that I'm pulling it out. I'll just replace that. Like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and just probably pull the pan on this, flip it upside down, go on and take the whole bottom end apart, or the main caps for now. Obviously I have to pull the balancer off. This was the balancer that was gonna go on, and then I had to pull the timing cover off as well, just to get to a couple other things down there, the pickup tube and all that. I'll probably end up putting a new pump in it, as long as everything's good as far as putting bearings in it. So basically, the lineup right here, it is a little off, and that's another thing I have to address. So I'll just continue to take it out and go from there. All right, guys, so we jumped ahead and now we have the engine on the stand, and the damage is more than I expected. So basically, I mean, I gotta tear this further down. Now I am gonna need a new crank, I'll tell you that right now. The reason being is this is where the thrust bearing goes. So it's pretty much worn out right here. It's eating up. You see the big old groove right there? And then this is the bearing, thrust bearing that came out of there. You can see how smooth it is. It's supposed to look like this. So basically, what this kind of tells us is that something's going on, whether, I don't know if it was a converter putting pressure on the crank or what. That's kind of what I'm thinking, but we're not 100% sure. Now I am going to tell you that I did not do the spacing on the converter, which could have caused this. But not only that, this engine was put together 4 years ago roughly, and basically I don't know if the issue was going on then or recently, because this motor was mated with the 4L80, and yeah, but now it's a 6-speed 6L80, and I did not space the converter where you put the washers between the flex plate and the converter. So that could have been the cause of this, is putting pressure forward against the crank. So in other words, the converter pushing. Now another thing I was reading too is it could have to do with transmission pressure. So I'm not 100% sure, you know, where it's at. I'll have to talk to the guy that tunes for me and go from there. But yeah, like I said, this crank is shot. With the movement of it going back and forth, it was definitely something bad. So let me show you how much it moves. If you take a look down here, it's a lot of movement. See, the whole thing shifts back and forth. Now I do have another concern, is it looks like the crank, obviously as it's being shifted forward, was hitting on most of these. This one seems okay. This one you can see a little bit, if you look on this side, you can see a little bit of scarring right there. But this one's the worst. You can see how much, you know, this was being pushed forward. So that being said, it looks like I'm gonna have to either get new main caps and new bearings in the crank. But not only that, I still have to figure out why this was going on. And then back here, you could definitely tell the crank, especially more like on the side. You know, the block is aluminum, so you could tell where the crank was pushing forward and riding against the block. So you can also see, you know, where the seal would ride. So what I could tell here is, here's the movement. So basically, this has been going on for a while, and I wasn't aware of it. But like I said, it's better safe than sorry. Now, obviously, with the new set of bearings and a new crank, or a good used crank, I think it'll still be good. I just have to figure out why the crank was being pushed forward, and I had mentioned there was no metal shavings, but look in the pickup tube. You got some chunks right there. So yeah, it is pretty bad actually. And the crazy thing about it is, I think the engine was already hurt then, before it was supercharged or right around, because I had swapped the 6L80s 6-speed in it before it was supercharged, and like I said, I didn't space it out. That could have been the cause. The other thing that's been mentioned is converter ballooning, meaning the converter, what it does is it expands, but I kind of find that hard to believe in a way. I mean, I'm not saying it's not happening, and I'm not saying it's not possible, but the thing is, it is a Yank 3000 stall. It has a billet back housing, and I don't see that back housing expanding, but who knows. So yeah, unfortunately, we got to decide what we're gonna do here. The truck's gonna be down for a while now, because we got to figure out what would be the best option here and method to put this back together and put it in the truck. Been tossing the idea of a iron block, a 6.0 iron block, punch it out to or make it a 370. It's just 30 over, and just do rods and pistons in it. But yeah, like I said, guys, fortunately the LSA supercharged truck is going to be down. It'll be down for a while. So yeah, fortunately, that's that. I did spend all morning trying to take the engine out. I just wanted to see what the issue was, or how much the damage was, and now we know. So there you have it, guys. We'll keep you posted and see what happens next, and go from there. Thank you.